Alrighty, we're live. Hello, hello, hello. Back for more Katawa Shoujo. If Discord will detect the game again. Discord? Not Discord. OBS. OBS, why are you doing this to me? Capture. Come on. You're set to the right window. Hello, my love. Welcome to the stream. There we go, finally. Is there any... There's no... Maybe I'll have to turn off full screen mode if it's going to be this awkward. Alrighty. So, this is where we're at. The end of June 17th. I don't know how long I'll be able to go on because my throat's feeling pretty sore at the moment just with the hay fever. But I will do my best. So, is there a... Oh. It's not as bad as I expected. So, where we left off... I'm trying to remember just all the specific events that happened. I know, like, the last main things that happened, yeah, Kenji started dropping his conspiracies on us. The feminist conspiracy. Nice, remembering the... But I think we were like, he was, our protagonist Hisao was starting to kind of get the... It's not as abnormal as I was thinking. Okay. Let's get to it. I feel very tired this morning. Probably because yesterday itself was a very tiring day. On top of that, I woke up far earlier than necessary. Hmm? Which part? Which part do I mean? Howdy. Well, Hisao seemed to have the idea that, like, before he got here, that this was going to be like an odd school, like it was going to be more of a hospital than a school. Yeah, I'm just... Even like the previous line we left off on was, maybe this place is too much like a normal school. So clearly he was expecting something abnormal. Current music track. Trip Breeze. Okay, you can see what the music track is at any given point. That's neat. I like games that do that, that let you kind of like look at... that let you see what the soundtrack is so you can go up and see it later. After saying hi to Suzune and Misha, I start doing the work as instructed from the board. It already looks like today is going to be heavy. I don't have a problem with that now, though. Shizune and Misha might jump on me trying to get an answer about whether or not I've decided to join the student council, even if it's just one day. I wouldn't put it past them to try, and I don't have an answer for them if they do, so this situation is convenient for me. About 10 minutes into class, Hanako walks in and takes a seat, but no one looks at her. The teacher doesn't even comment on her lateness. He does, however, stop us to say that we're going to break into groups again. I turn my head and see that Shizune and Misha are looking at me. Shizune gives me a smile that is equal parts cute and menacing. This is a smile that says, "We have you now. There is no escape." Hit-chan! Looks like we're together again. Yay yay! Oh, getting a little close. Misha leans sideways while Shizune pushes her desk closer to mine. There really is no escape now unless I were to jump through the window. Jumping out the window isn't the best option, sadly. What's wrong, Hit-chan? Oh, Hit-chan, have you been thinking about what you said yesterday? You said that you would think about joining the student council, didn't you? I said I would think about it. It's okay, Hit-chan. We were talking about it after you left, and it would be rude to expect you to already have an answer for us this early, right? Right? I'm so happy you two are able to have a laugh at my expense. And even more pleased to know that you both know how crazy the two of you can be. Now that that's over, Shizune snaps back into serious mode and smacks today's assignment with the back of her hand in an overly dramatic and important way. When I actually look at the stuff, it's mostly just reading. In fact, there are only two problems. That I get scared when it's kind of like there's only like one or two questions. I almost want to say something about how her rush to get started seems a bit much considering the small amount of work. In fact, Shizune probably knows how little there is and simply doesn't care. Yeah, it seems like the workload doesn't matter to her as much as the fact that there is work. The actual amount is unimportant. She approaches everything with the same level of ambition. Oh, that's Hanako. While I'm reading, I let my eyes wander around the room and catch Hanako trying her hand at solving the problems. It looks like she's working alone. I can't remember seeing her working with other people before. Thinking back to how shy she is, it's understandable. Hey, that girl over there. Huh? Who, Hitchan? Her. Hanako. Over there. Does she always work alone? I think so, Hitchan. Do you feel sorry for her because she's alone? I was just thinking that maybe she could work with us or something. No. I don't think that would be a good idea, Hitchan. Why not? Shitchan wouldn't get along with her. Why? Misha shuffles around a question, letting out a laugh that sounds very strange. It's nervous, but still has that lilting up and down quality present in everything she says. Just because, Hitchan. By now, Shizune has noticed our conversation, and it makes me realize again how Misha has been signing everything she has been saying this whole time. Oh, what, Shichan? The friend of my enemy is my enemy? That sounds so harsh. I'm not going to say that, but you just did. You said it anyway. I know, Hitchan. It's fine if you overhear. I wonder if this is Misha's way of keeping things fair. Since without her, I wouldn't be able to understand the things Shizune is saying, and vice versa. Is that also why she signs all the time? So there's never a conversation Shizune will be left out of? How did, if there's like multiple conversations going on in the background, how does she decide which one is the? It's like I think it's like a really bad case of selective hearing. Makes sense that the deaf girl has a problem with the blind girl. Is Ha- Hanako's not blind, is she? She seemed to, when we met her before, she seemed able to read, and like, or did I miss something about? She's talking about Lily. What did I miss? Oh, the friend of my enemy. Is that okay? Okay, yeah, I'm that bit kind of went over my head. Okay, that makes more sense. I just kind of thought about how this feels like Shizune has potentially has a bad case of selective hearing, except it's not like her own brain deciding what she's going to hear or not hear, but rather she's reliant on Misha to decide which conversations are most important for her to be able to listen to. Anyway, we should start on the problems now, Hitchan. Tick-tock. We finish with time to spare, and I decide to ask if there are any alternatives to the cafeteria, as, frankly, the food so far has been subpar. This sent Shizune and Misha arguing among themselves about their favorite restaurants. All of them are downtown, so I don't think we have time to go all the way there. And what about the bill? If Misha catches something juicy, I'm sure she'd gossip Shizune. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's Misha who decides like what is juicy. Not that I'm trying to imply any malice on Misha's part, just that if there is like anything going on around that Shizune would rather be listening in on, but she's solely reliant on what conversation Misha decides to be signing. Are they arguing just for the fun of it? Maybe. They seem so distracted by it that they don't even notice the start of the actual lunch break. I look over my shoulder towards the back of the classroom. She seems to be studying her notes from the previous class. It's an odd sight. Everyone else in the class is busying themselves with the lunch break. Socializing, gossiping, rearranging desks. The ones with actual boxed lunches mixed in and chattering like everyone else, only interrupted by short bouts of eating. But when I watch Hanako, it feels that I'm the only one who can see her. Almost as if she was invisible, sort of hiding in plain sight. It's also assuming that Misha overhears every conversation. Yeah, I'm just kind of like hypothesizing, I think. I'm not thinking like there's anything actually going on in that regard. Is she being bullied? Is she isolating herself from the rest of the class on her own accord? I see her look over her shoulder towards the classroom's rear door. Come to think of it, she hasn't turned a page since I've started watching her. I guess she's waiting for someone? What to do? I... Trainer girl also means you hang out with that girl's best friend too. Okay. Uh, Not too surprising, to be fair. After her reaction the first time we spoke, like maybe putting that stress on her like in front of the class is maybe a bad idea. Because I know like being in a place where there's more people who could end up watching you can like add on to social anxieties. So, yeah, I feel I'd take the safe route. Just because you're scared doesn't mean you don't want a social connection. That's true, but I know myself. Like, I know, given my own experience, I'd feel hesitant because there have been times where social interaction in an environment I'm uncomfortable with has, like, pushed me into meltdown territory. And having a meltdown in front of a bunch of people is... I don't know enough about Hanako to know if that would... I remember all choices matter, but I'm giving my own logic for why I'm making my choices. No. Even if they're the wrong choices, I want them to be my choices. So no, I will err on the side of caution, but this choice will help you either avoid it or set you on it. Yeah, well, again, I'm not trying to, my goal at the moment isn't to try to, like, avoid, I'm not trying to avoid a route or follow a specific one. Didn't meet every girl, yeah. Yeah, so I don't even... Like I said, at the very least, the first playthrough is going to be just, what choices would I make? But I want to just, when I'm making a choice, I want people to know, like, what's going on in my head. I'm not going to just go, nope, I'm making this choice, I'm not going to elaborate. I do what I always do when I don't know what to do. Like now. I've already started on one of the books I borrowed yesterday and took it with me to school to fill the empty moments between classes. I find a page that I creased a corner of to mark the spot I left yesterday night, and pick up from there. You don't have a bookmark? I mean, creasing books is fine if you owned a book, but I feel like... with rented or borrowed books, I like to be more respectful. Misha and Shizune are still arguing heatedly, probably about restaurants still. If I joined them, I'd just get caught up in that, or worse, get grilled about joining the student council. Misha isn't speaking aloud since there's nobody who'd need to hear what they're talking about. But why does she tend to sign things even when Shizune doesn't need to understand what's being said, or even more strangely when Shizune's not around at all? What about conflict of habits? Maybe it's just to keep in the practice of it? I find it hard to focus on the book, and besides, the lunch break beckons me to leave the dullness of the classroom. I do so, heading down for the cafeteria. Misha and Shizune, having come to a conclusion of one kind or another, follow in my wake, though still talking in their animated fashion. Just around the corner of the hallway, something hits me in the chest with the force of a runaway train. Ouch! Oh. New character. Opening my eyes, I see a pair of saucer-like green eyes looking up at me. They belong to the perpetrator, a short girl who has bumped into me and has now fallen down on the hallway floor. She wears a PE uniform and a very worried frown, and the former strikes me as a rather strange thing to have on during lunch break. More striking than that, though, is that she doesn't have legs. Or she does, but they're not flesh and bone. Her pale and very much flesh and bone thighs end in shins and feet made of some black metallic or plastic-like material. Remember, well, those are... If I understand as well, those are sports prosthetics, aren't they? They look disturbingly artificial and unnatural. It almost makes me forget that my chest is hurting. The girl winces a little, rubs her nose, and jumps up. Oh man. Hey, are you alright? I'm sorry about that, really. I wasn't looking where I was going and you just came out of nowhere. Sorry. She's looking really apologetic, in the hurt puppy way of looking apologetic. I quickly forget about being angry or anything, since hurt puppies are my weak spot. Who doesn't have a weak spot for hurt puppies? I would be a little suspicious of anyone who can completely brush that off and kind of like, nope, doesn't bother me. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Ouch. Oh, Oh, I forgot about that for a moment. I say that, but there's a stinging pain growing in my chest, and I know that this is about the biggest possible danger for my condition. Don't overexert yourself. Don't forget your medication. And most of all, don't get hit in the chest. I try to rub my solar plexus to chase the pain away, holding my breath in an attempt to hear my heartbeat. Oh, it seems normal. Hey, should I get a nurse? The worried, high-pitched voice of the girl snaps me out of it. I stare at her for a few seconds, dumbfounded, until I realize that I probably looked worse off than I really was, doubled over myself and looking all tense. Damn, I'm overly worried about my heart. And I don't think overly worried. I think if you are, like, high risk of a heart attack, and, like, you've been told, like, getting hit in the chest is potentially fatal for you. I mean, I assume in a place like this, he'd have, like, attention soon enough. That there's someone, like, on call at any given moment to get you seen immediately. No, but I don't think that's being overly worried. No need. I'm fine. Managing to say something in response, I pull myself upright, feeling my sore ribs one last time, and take a deep breath. She just knocked the wind out of me, big time. But it's nothing more than that. You sure you're okay? I hit you pretty hard. It's okay. I said I was fine and nothing's broken. No harm done. Oh, that's good. I feel a hand on my shoulder at the same time. Oh, excuse me. I was reading that. I feel a hand on my shoulder at the same time. At the same time, the girl's eyes widen in horror, and whatever she was saying gets interrupted by a very horrified... Eef! Oh, hello, you two. I don't have time to look behind me because Shizune is already shoving me aside and stomping over to the girl, signing furiously at her. Miss Ibarasaki, I saw that. Running in the halls is strictly forbidden. Misha translates, right on Shizune's tail, but her voice is girlishly playful, not full of the divine fury Shizune's arm movements would seem to call for. Sorry. I was just going to get some stuff and I was kind of in a hurry. You've been told this 1,000 times before. Her reckless behavior endangers other students. And even worse, it's explicitly against the school regulations. Yes, student health comes after regulations. The girl blushes and starts to fidget nervously like a little child caught misbehaving. It's so cute I find myself smiling. I know, Dad. I was just... Make sure that this will not happen again. Although I'm sure telling you this is futile and only causes me further headache when you choose to ignore the regulations. Got that, Emmy? The small girl sticks her tongue out in response. I gotta go. Teacher will have my head. I promised to help with printouts, but I went running instead. Sorry, but I've got to change and everything. Before Misha or Suzune or I can say anything, she is already bolted away from where she was a second ago, almost halfway towards the stairwell. Shizune looks like she is about to go nuclear on the spot, so I smile at her in a vain attempt to calm her down. Are you okay, Hichan? That Ibarasagi girl is always like that, causing trouble to others. You know, I'm pretty sure... that's me speaking. You know, I'm pretty certain Shizune wouldn't call me Hichan. Never mind. Yeah, anyway, I'm okay. Just got the wind knocked out of me. That's great, Hichan. I wouldn't call that great, but I let it slide this one time. We have to run now. There's an important student council meeting regarding the festival. And we finally decided where to eat. Oh. Too bad you can't join, but this lunch meeting is only for council members. We can take you there some other time. But that'd be like a date, wouldn't it? okay. I thought they were about to. I thought they were about to go with the angle of. Oh, it's a shame you're not a council member. You can't join us for the meal. And start like going down the bribery aspect. The girls leave for downstairs. I didn't manage to get far from the third floor hallway before all this commotion struck. Literally. I should get going as well. The lunch and the afternoon class pass uneventfully. I read most of the book I had started yesterday and eat some of them mostly inedible offerings of the cafeteria. The class is tiresome. The teacher seems like an okay person despite the weird first impression I got, and the material is relatively interesting. However, the way he teaches is really bizarre. It's as if he expects that everyone is a natural genius. When the final bell sounds, I realize that there's still a lot of time left in the day, and I'm wondering what to do. It's odd. At the hospital I had 24 hours a day of free time, but here, filling the considerably shorter hours feels difficult. Everyone else leaves, and I'm left alone with the teacher. Muto is examining the assignment sheets we were working on earlier, marking them with a red ball pen.
That music is sounding a little loud, but it doesn't look like it's too loud on Discord.
Raising his eyes from his papers briefly, he notices me and furrows his brow. What is it, Nakai? I jump at him addressing me, but I guess it's natural to spark some conversation since there's nobody else around. Nothing. Thinking about what I'd do after school. The teacher slowly puts the cap on the pen he is holding and arranges his papers into a stack, clacking it against the desk twice. He seems very methodical, and for a brief moment I'm reminded of Shizune, but the teacher's more unhurried and relaxed, much more routine. You have no plans? No. I considered joining a club, but I don't know what kind of club would interest me. Go observe a meeting of someone else's club. Might pique your interest. I guess. But I don't know how to continue from there. When you're just trying to... I don't know if I want to do that, so I'm looking for an excuse. Muto looks at me in a way that makes me quickly want to take the words back to avoid a conversation. But I can't, so I have to forge ahead. I just don't know how to deal with people. I mean, the other students. I'm talking to people and everything, so it's not that I'd be isolated or anything. I just don't know what to think about the disabilities. It's like... It feels like I'm being impolite if I pay attention to them, and it's weird to ignore them. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. The teacher scratches his cheek absent-mindedly, looking very unresponsive. These things are only an issue if you make them one. You can talk normally with someone, even if they are blind or something. Try to look behind the superficial. There's not a single student here who isn't just a normal kid behind whatever they might seem at first glance. He says the same thing as Yuko did. I know they're right, but it's hard. How can you not consider, for example, Shizune's deafness when the only way to communicate with her is to talk through Misha? Or Hanako. It's not like you can ignore her face. But... Oh. I'm interrupted by the door of the classroom suddenly slamming open. Teacher! Misha crashes in, hands straight in an enthusiastic greeting. Her voice loud and lively enough to wake the dead from their graves. She starts towards the teacher's desk with her bouncing steps, hands energetically swinging with the rhythm. Muto, visibly dismayed at the interruption, and Misha in general, slumps in his chair. Mikado? Misha stomps in her tracks and looks around cluelessly, as if she's sensing from his tone that something's wrong, but has no idea what. Yes? We've talked about volume control before. Yes! But she doesn't lower her voice at all, and the teacher just rubs his eyes. So, what is it? We need help. We are running out of supplies for the festival sounds. This is a distress. Excuse me. She waves a pink slip of paper she's holding around. So, go get more supplies from the art room. What's the problem with that? Plywood. Plywood is always a problem. Last time we wanted more, there was only a little, but that time we just took it all and went with that. Now there's like none left there, so do you know where there is some? I don't understand. How would I know? Shit-chan, I mean, the president thought that the teacher would know if there was plywood. Was she wrong? Muto looks like he's in great pain, frowning with his entire essence, and Misha doesn't get it at all. Looking at the two of them communicate is terrible. Like looking at a man being tortured by drilling his skull open while blasting pop music at full volume at the same time. Feels a little mean to Misha. I'm afraid I have no idea if there is any plywood in the school, let alone where it would be if there was any. Aw, what should I do? Perhaps try to find Mr. Nomiya? I'm quite sure he would know where to find everything you need. You'd have to pry them from his cold, dead hands, but that's a different matter. I don't have the time. You're so busy. She holds her head with both of her hands, looking as despairing as possible for a person like her. Without even noticing, she crumples the note she's holding against her hair. I shouldn't even be fetching these things. There's so much to do and we are falling behind the schedule. Muto looks at her gravely and then suddenly smiles. The smiling doesn't really fit his face. I think it'd be better if he didn't. I wonder if you could get some temporary help. He switches to staring at me focusedly with a hard expression as if trying to say, go make some friends. I guess I can give you a hand. You can? Thanks, Ichan. You're really nice. She pauses, does a double take, and then points at me with her finger yelling, ah! And looking very puzzled. Come to think of it, what's Hichan doing here? Class is over. You should be having fun. We just had a little chat. Oh no, it's not detention, is it? Are you in trouble, Hichan? No, I'm not. Is Hichan in trouble, teacher? No, he's not. Muto sighs deeply, and I feel that I have to help Misha to get her off the teacher's back. So, what do you need? Here's a list. I can try to find a plywood from somewhere if there's none in the art room. She offers me the note she's holding. I take it, hesitating a bit. I said I'd help you, but this has no implications on whether I'm joining the council or not. Aww. Still, thanks, Hichan. Try to be quick. We're in a stall building street now, and we must hurry, hurry, hurry. She bounces out of the classroom, leaving me and the teacher looking at each other with something that feels like a silent agreement. Well, there you have it, Nagai. You have something to do now. Please don't sound so smug. Looking at the list of a number of items ranging from paint to plywood, all written with small, neat handwriting that is undoubtedly Shizune's, I heave a sigh. I'll be going then. Waving the long list limply at the teacher, I exit to the hallway. The classrooms closest to ours are designated belonging to classes 3-1 and 3-2 on the right side and 3-4 on the left side, each door looking exactly the same. Further down the corridor, still with identical doors, are rooms that I didn't think were used for classes. I guess the art room is not a classroom as such. I carefully push open the furthest door and peek in. It's a classroom, but it seems rather badly kept or not in use. Am I in the right place? Here we go. What do you mean, here we go? What am I getting into now? Desks and chairs are all around the room. A thin layer of dust settled on them. There are some easels in the corner, so at least this looks like the right place. The room is flushed in sunlight from the big windows, shadows creeping all over the desks. Specks of dust are dancing in the stagnant air, making the beams of light almost visible. Jokingly, I call into the empty room. Anybody home? Something catches my eye and I stop mid-sentence. Sitting on the desk is a short-haired girl, curiously wearing a boy's uniform, with a fork between her toes and a morsel of food stuck firmly on the end. This odd way of dining seems to be caused by her apparent lack of hands, but her presence here is what takes me aback even more. How did I miss her before? She's sitting in the corner very still, but I still somehow took her as part of the furnishing or a statue at first glance. Ninja, blending in. I'm not being too observant today, as a whole. The girl seems to be frozen in place, staring at me with her huge eyes like a rabbit in headlights. She's staring at me, her mouth wide open, ready to accept the fork. I'm staring at her, my mouth wide open, suddenly remembering I didn't finish my sentence and trying to think if I should. This weird stalemate keeps us both stunned into silence, punctuated only by the wall clock ticking rhythmically. Hello. The girl stuffs the forkful in her mouth and is now staring at me expectantly while chewing. This is a bit awkward. Hello. I was told to pick up some supplies from here for some festival stalls, I think. I didn't think there would be someone here. There isn't. That's why I came here too. She picks up another forkful. Doesn't that mean that you're here then? She raises her eyebrows as if she was suspecting my observation was false. You're pretty observant. I guess it does. But who are you? Sloska? Okay, so... This is the last one? I've been introduced to everyone? Well, I haven't really been introduced to her yet, I suppose. This girl is pretty straightforward, isn't she? I mean, Oh, straightforwardness isn't definitely not a bad thing. I'm Nakai. Hisao Nakai. I just transferred in on Monday. I'm Rin. Tezuka Rin. Rin Tezuka. I won't shake hands with you, but at least we know who we are now. That's very nice. Her deadpan manner of talking makes it hard to determine whether she's joking about shaking hands or not. Shizune, Lily, Hanako, Emi, and Rin. Okay. Yeah, we haven't really got a proper introduction to Emi either. Like, we've not said hello and had a conversation other than just a quick... Whoops, sorry I bumped into you. No one's hurt. We didn't even get her name from Emi, we just kind of overheard it. Misha saying about it. It kind of bothers me. Joking about these matters doesn't feel appropriate at all. While I'm trying to figure out what's appropriate and whoever this girl... While I'm trying to figure what's appropriate and whoever this girl is, she seems to have lost interest in me and is now gazing yearningly back for food. Can I continue my lunch? If you don't mind me, I won't mind you. If you need to get your stuff, the supplies are at the back. Go right ahead, but... Lunch? The school's already over for today. What word would you use then? There's no word for a meal you eat after lunch, before dinner, right? It bothers me very much too, but I don't really know what I should say. I don't think you're supposed to eat a meal between lunch and dinner to begin with. But I'm hungry now. My delicious boxed lunch would go to waste otherwise. Linner, yes. I have curry. It's very delicious. Curry is nice. I am a fan of curry myself. With much decisiveness, Rin once again picks up the fork between her toes, and with at least as much impoliteness, she points it straight at me. So, Nakai, what brings you to this place? Like I said, I was told to look for these things. No, the school. From outside you look fine. Is your problem inside? I come to a full stop, opening my mouth, but not getting a word out. This is I think this is the first time anyone has asked, so what's your problem? Which I was kind of, I was waiting for some that to come up at some point in a character story. Because yeah, everyone we've met so far, kind of it's been fairly obvious what their disability has been. Like Shizune, it doesn't take long to figure out Shizune's deaf. It doesn't take long to figure out Lily's blind. Hanako, you can yeah, the five girls all have very visible, well, except in Shizune's case, it's not visible. So I was waiting for someone to kind of point out that, well, you look like we can't see anything wrong with you. So what brings you here? I, I can guess. I'm good at guessing. Better than most people. Ring cuts me off before I can answer a question or skirt around it somehow. I don't know which I would have done. I froze in front of this issue again. I haven't even told anyone here about my condition, or maybe it's only because it hasn't really come up. Funny thing is, the Yamaku isn't strictly for disabled students; they take able bodies. Oh, yeah, I suppose that would make sense as well. Like, 'cause just I suppose if demographics, maybe it would be hard to fill an entire school. But I suppose it still probably like would be the majority if Rin here is like able to just ask off the bat. So what brings you here? Like it's you're more able to assume that something is like someone does have a disability than they don't. I do get the feeling that not making issues of this is a part of the social code here, as the teacher said. I wonder if the people here could relate. Probably not any better than any normal person could. I can't relate to Shizune's circumstances, or Lily's either. Naturally, while I go through this in my head, Rin keeps considering what my condition could be, with an overtly contemplative look on her face. She puts her fork between her lips and leans back, looking at the ceiling as if the answer was written up there. A beam of light illuminates her face from the window side, creating a mask of dark shadow on the other. I don't think it's anything in your head, and something in your guts would be boringly ordinary, like this lunch of mine, unless delicious. The problem must be in your pants. Misha is seemingly able-bodied. It's never confirmed or denied if she has a disability, though. Hmm. Yeah, Misha, I kind of get the feeling that there's something with Misha. Maybe not. A, I suppose it depends on like what at what point you define something as a condition as being a disability. But like the way her speech is referenced, that like like her having very poor volume control, and she doesn't seem to be too good at with tone. Like sounds like there could be. Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if like something on like on the autism spectrum or something like that, but it feels kind of implied that there's something there. Oh, wait, how? I'm now curious how Hisao is going to react to this. This messed up Sherlock Holmes kind of statement and the sheer lack of tact it was delivered with catches me completely off guard. I think I might have reeled back even physically as Rin's eyes widen in revelation and astonishment. So I was right. There's something wrong with your tackle, isn't there? Still partially in shock, but recognizing the need to reply something, I spit out the first thing that I can think of. No, nothing like that. I have a heart problem. Arrhythmia. I said it. More like blurted it out, but I said it. The girl in front of me purses her lips together and glowers at me, looking very disappointed. Boring. Trouble in the pants would have been much more scandalous. What's with this reaction? I'm sorry to let you down. I forgive you. Just, I collect people. A person with, that kind of problem would have been really great. Collect people? people with different problems. So you just, like, go around asking people what's wrong with them? Pretty much. I see. With little left to say, Rin resumes her lunch and the conversation dies away, but I keep thinking about what she said. It's the first time I told anyone else about my condition. All the other people have either known about it already or heard about it from someone else. Or didn't need to know about it, like every other student here so far. Should I have told it as a natural part of introductions? Is it expected of me? Hi, I'm Hisao. I have a very serious heart condition. Is that how I'm supposed to go around introducing myself from now on? As if our disabilities would define us. What a disgusting thought. Is that something to think of yourself, Hisao? Not sure if that was a genuine guess or just her trying to coax him into telling her what. Yeah, given as well that kind of it's already talked about, like she has like a deadpan voice. It's kind of hard to figure with people like that. Like, are you? Like, you do get the impression, like, I don't know whether you're joking or serious here. Or maybe this Tezuka girl just has an unnatural interest in such things. As I walk to the back of the room to pick up the items on Misha's list, a chance opens to study Rin from the corner of my eye. Her hair is a burnt almost orange and cropped short. Long hair would probably be impossible with no arms. The boy's uniform and lack of arms make her look very thin, almost scrawny. She is not particularly pretty, except for her murky green eyes which flicker restlessly from below her short bangs, even when she eats. The distance and the shadows make it seem like they don't reflect sunlight at all, but instead absorb all of it within them like deep wells. She moves her feet almost as deftly as a normal person would use their arms. However, I can see how this sight could discomfort people, especially while eating. It makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable, at least. I hesitate to think about the word unnatural, but it's too late now, isn't it? I keep searching the cabins and shelves for Misha's things, but after enough time passes, the silence grows too uncomfortable. So I try to force some conversation out of this strange girl. So, do you always eat alone and this late, or do you get the occasional visitor? Visitors. Maybe you're my first occasional visitor. But I don't always eat alone either. Sometimes I eat with a certain person on the roof, if she's not horsing around. Horsing? She likes to do sports. Oh. And that's all I can think of to say. Both of us fall silent again as Rin forks the last bits of her meal to her mouth. I look down at my haul and double check it with Misha's list. It seems I have everything except plywood. So I think I have all the things now. That's very nice for you. Don't feel obliged to stay. I was about to take a nap anyway. You need to do whatever you're going to do with that stuff, right? Anyway, right? Or perhaps you like to watch girls sleeping? I'm not sure what to make of this, but Rin looks serious. Even if I did, I think I have to be going. I'll catch you around, Tezuka. You can call me Rin. I feel that our relationship is at this point good enough to warrant this much. I was already turning to make my exit, but she draws me back in. Fine. Then I'm Hisao. Then you are. Rin looks at me hard in the eyes, but that intimidating feeling you get when someone stares at you isn't there. It's like she's actually not looking at me at all. She blinks a couple of times, and I can't figure out why a pause like this just popped between us out of nowhere. See you later, Hisao. There is something like a tiny smile there in her face. Maybe. I quietly back out of the room. As I shut the door in front of my face, I whisper to myself, what an intriguing person. From inside, I hear a muffled sing-song voice. I heard that. What did she hear? Oh, hi, Misha. I jump at the sudden appearance of Misha, who who I had not heard approaching despite the completely empty hallway. Somehow she had gotten to jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepy. It briefly reminds me of Kenji's nutty theory about a global feminist conspiracy, but I pushed that thought aside. Oh, hi Shizune. Shizune, standing slightly behind Misha, looks aloof as she couldn't have heard the remark that drew Misha's attention. But Misha is visibly excited. No, wait, more importantly, who is in there? There's no club meetings today. She tries to curiously peek past me, even though the door prevents her from seeing anyway. What are you doing here? You took so long that we had to come check what's wrong. That's no good, Hit-chan. She wags her finger at me scoldingly. I found plywood, but everything else is still missing because you were tardy. Oh, sorry, I got the things here. Just going to bring them. I think you were up to some mischief, Hit-chan. Who's in there with you? I wonder. Misha signs something quick to Shizune, pointing at her own ear a couple of times. Oh. Shizune immediately pushes her way past me and opens the door into the classroom I just left. I can only imagine the shock she is experiencing. With Shizune's diligence and attitude, the insolence of daring to deface school property by sleeping on top of it must be too much to bear. And indeed, she stares at Rin, frozen in place apart from the slight but noticeable trembling of her shoulders. From suppressed rage, I'm sure. Instead of blowing up, Shizune just takes a few deep breaths, adjusts her glasses, and slams the door shut, turning to sign furiously at Misha. Maybe she did blow up, but I can't understand it. She shoots a very loaded stare at me too, as if it was somehow my fault that Rin is sleeping on one of the tables. I hope she's not getting any funny ideas about the reason of my tardiness. Hello. Rin's voice comes from the other side of the door, and it takes a few eye blinks to realize she might have trouble opening it. I open the door to find Rin directly behind it, looking at us with a half-interested, half-sleepy face. Hello. Miss Tezuka, what do you think you are doing? You absolutely are not permitted to use school property for such a disgraceful activity. It sure is suddenly very crowded in here. I didn't know I was this popular. It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about this turn of events. At any rate, she ignores Shizune Misha's scolding, so they have no choice but to drop the issue. Shizune taps Misha's shoulder, pointing to Rin and making some quick signs. Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. Anyway, how's your project going? Will it be done for the festival? Rin looks at them blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure Shizune's cold stare is putting on her. I keep wondering about that myself, too. And? We'll think about it harder. As Misha signs her reply to Shizune, her face turns into an unsatisfied frown. I can imagine this is not the kind of attitude Shizune likes. Miss Tezuka, please try to take this seriously. It'll be a disaster if the wall looks like someone threw up their lunch onto it. Rin nods assertively. We'll think more seriously. Misha actually giggles at that, but Shizune doesn't. Not even after translation. She just shakes her head, takes some materials from me, and takes off with Misha in tow. Rin frowns thoughtfully as she looks after the retreating student council duo. How rude. It's true though. I must finish my project before the weekend. There will be dire consequences if I don't. The end of the world as we know it. Like weekends usually are, but more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to unforeseen future. I am about to ask what project she has and what are these apocalyptic consequences, but she walks back into the art classroom. Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? This paint can doesn't fit into my bag, but I need it. She kicks lightly at a huge can of paint that's lying on the floor next to the table she was sitting and sleeping on. It lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Heavy. Yeah, sure. Where do you need to take it? Away. And with that, she takes off to the hallway, me and the paint can following since there's little choice for either of us. I guess we're just following. The hallway is quiet and empty now with Shizune and Misha gone, so we too leave towards the stairwell at the other end. Every 10 or 15 or 20 steps, I have to change the can from one hand to another, because the fin handle cuts into my palm. Oh, yep, that is... I hate it when you're carrying something heavy and it's got like a thin handle on it. That's when I was doing my some shopping earlier today. I got one of those plastic bags where the handles quickly like crumple, very thin. I remember by the time setting it down, just you could see all the grooves in my fingers. At least it keeps my arms from tiring too fast. Rin strolls on beside me with an uneven pace that I have trouble matching. Or maybe I'm walking weird because of the extra weight. It seems one of us is constantly walking too slow or too fast, and I can't figure out which. 2 flights of stairs below, trouble appears in the form of the head nurse and his fox-like grin. Ah, Mr. Nakai, what a happy coincidence. Tezuka too, of course. He nods courteously to Rin, who does not acknowledge him back, then turns to me because obviously it's me who he had some business with. There is something I forgot to mention on Monday. I nod and wait impassively because I can't even begin to guess what he forgot. The feeling of the handle delving deeper into my skin doesn't make me feel enthusiastic about this interruption either. It's about your medications. Since you haven't been that long on your current medications, there might be some unexpected side effects, which might require adjusting dosages or even changing to another kind of medication. So we will do a few tests regularly, but what I'd want is for you to keep an eye on everything in your condition that feels off, if you get what I mean. You could just put it... Yeah, I was thinking that. He could just set it down on the floor. But I understand as well, like, not if you're kind of like, I don't like, is this just like, he has like one quick thing to say and then he's away? In which case it feels kind of weird to put the paint can down only to like immediately have to pick it up again. Nausea, headache, anything, and come see me if something happens. Alright. So, how are you? Everything fine? I give up and drop the can to the floor before answering him. Apparently this takes longer than my biceps can. There we go. He's like, okay, we're having a conversation now. Now I'll set it down. I'm about to say something generic as an answer, but then I realize how often I've done that lately. Other people have asked me that too. Teachers and students here, my parents, visitors, nurses, doctors at the hospital. Everyone seems to be concerned about that. It's natural for a hospital, not so much a school. Give me a moment. It's okay. It's fine. Yeah. Still got a bit of the hay fever today. It's not as bad today as it was the other day though. Except this school. This is a small school and both the student base and the faculty seem to be very tightly knit. At least that's the feeling I'm getting. And this is not the kind of school that gets transfer students too often. The thought sends shivers up my spine, but I give a generic answer anyway. Oh, we don't even get the generic answer. It's just generic. That's great. Also, one other thing. My sources tell me that you've been at neither the school track nor even the pool, so I'd like to know if you have taken up exercise as I asked. Of course I haven't, but his way of inquiring gives me the feeling that I should have been running my ass off on the track since the very first day. Do you have people spying on me? Not as such, I just happen to know a few people. But that's not the issue here, so don't try to slip out of it. Well, I was actually just doing some improvised weightlifting as an exercise. I pick up and lift a can up and down a few times like some sad imitation of a bodybuilder. Even though it's weighing down on my arms painfully. Paint is heavy. The stupid grin disappears from his face for a second, then comes back like it was never gone. Tezuka, would you give us a second? The nurse grabs me by the shoulder without waiting for Rin's permission, which he didn't need in the first place, and drags me aside. When I told you to exercise, I wasn't joking. I understand that you're still in your first week and all, but please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down this hard on you is that habits are not easy to form. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it'll be. It's the same with everything, like dieting. Can you promise me to be more serious about this from now on? I feel yes. Like this is when your doctor, when your nurse is like coming out with advice like this, you don't joke about it. You don't go, oh, maybe I'll see what I can do. Yeah, I promise. Definitely. He studies me for a moment and then shrugs, smiling again. Okay, that's more like it. If you go to the school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet my spy, who probably has no qualms offering consultation to you if you want to jog a bit. Consultation? See you around. He leaves with a wave of his hand and no answer, and I walk to Rin, who has been waiting, idly leaning against the hallway wall and staring at the pale lighting fixtures in the ceiling. Even when I approach, she doesn't move her eyes off them. Are you getting medications for your heart thingy? Were you listening? It comes out more accusatory than I intended, accidentally lashing out on her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her. I don't know her. It's not her business. The nurse seems to be happily ignorant about confidentiality too, talking about that kind of thing in public. But it's not Rin's fault, is it? I look up at her, suddenly feeling a bit guilty, but Rin is just staring past my shoulder, quizzically, her head tilted like a bird's. I don't know why this is so hard for me. It feels like there's some inexplicable lock that prevents me from being more upfront about this. Yeah, there for my heart. Will they make you better? No, not really. They just make me a little less worse. Rin keeps looking at me for a while longer, and she neither says anything further nor displays any kind of emotion I could discern. I'm thankful that she doesn't. I think I'm still not quite used to all this. At the hospital it was easy, but I still haven't sorted my feelings out about having to live a normal life with this disability. We leave the main building, and Rin leads us onwards towards the dorm. We stop at a small patch of greenery in front of the dorm building. The dorm is built on slightly elevated ground, with a wall and a few trees that everyone has to circle around every time they come or go. It's probably the only inconvenient design in the school. The entire wall, made of the same kind of bricks as the building itself, has been covered with some sort of painting. Most of it is still mere sketches, quick lines drawn with black and white against a grey plastering that covers almost the entire length of the wall, but some places look a bit more finished. There are human faces and legs and hands. I can't quite say what the painting as a whole might portray. Stacks of what seem to be paint cans are arranged in piles on the ground beside the wall. Okay, so is Rin putting together a mural? See, the left side is hardly off the ground yet. It's because I couldn't get in the mood yesterday, so I gave up and went to meditate instead. Then it was suddenly morning. I have to work on it, but the guys from art class are helping with the negative spaces and base surfaces whenever, which is a problem. It's easier to paint big areas if there are a lot of people, with hands. The reach is better and it's faster too. She goes on a tangent of a tangent, waving a little with her arm or whatever of it there actually is to demonstrate, even though I got the point already. I feel like there's a comma missing there. The white cotton of her sleeve flaps around, and it makes me think it could look sadder than it does. But it makes me feel out of place, like almost every tangible reminder of the student base's special properties has in the past few days. This girl doesn't notice my dreary feelings, of course, or the fact that she lost me a while ago and just keeps on blabbering. So that's why I'm trying to figure out if there's something I need to figure out, and then figure that out before it's too late and all hope is lost. Why would hope be lost? Because paint has to be painted, and then it has to dry, and then it has to be painted over with another kind of paint. It takes time. She finally stops, apparently thinking she made some kind of statement that makes sense. I think it's best to start from the top. So, this is your project? You did this? Yes, yes. All of it? Yes. Nice. But I stumble with my words, suddenly feeling like I've walked straight into the minefield of political incorrectness. It's okay. You can say it. I probably won't get mad. I blush really hard. I don't really know what would be the right thing to say, if any. It feels that I'm way more sensitive than Rin is, though. This is really awkward. Don't you want to ask? How do you paint without hands? See? I'm an easy person to talk to, right? With my feet. I almost guessed that already, but isn't that hard to do? You're good at guessing. Anyway, I don't think it is, but maybe I'm used to it by now. I can't get my mind around the fact that she could be an artist. But seeing how adept she was using her feet to eat, I figure painting might not be a problem either. Neither of us has anything more to add to the subject. The afternoon light works pretty well. I was afraid it would look too flat, but it's not like that after all. I think it's actually pretty interesting. I wanted to see what it looks like in dim light. Do you think it's flat? Well, paintings tend to be flat. Not like that flat, flat. Like some people are. No substance, no meat where there should be some. I know a few girls who... Okay, I get it, but I couldn't really tell. I'm not that good with art. I can't name many artists or artistic terms, so I don't really have anything to say. Rin shrugs her shoulders at that, saying, "Suit yourself," without saying it, and looks up at the sky as if trying to look for something up there. I didn't think I'd get any actual work done, but if you give me a hand with the paints, I could do a little before it's too dark. I wanted to get a halogen lamp like the ones they have at the sports track, but there aren't any. Rin sure is quick to recruit my help, as was Shizune. It really makes me feel that the festival is such a big project that every pair of hands is needed. Why not? I'm not really sure if I can be of any help, though. It's just mixing some paints. You can do that. Probably. Do you have some motor control problems? Like, those people who have some? Cerebral palsy, maybe? Not that I know of. I get it. Art thingy has nothing to do with that. She gives me a sly look for no reason. No, it doesn't. Let's do it then. So she sits on an empty wooden box and very naturally picks up a wide brush between the toes of her bare right foot. I open a few of the cans and pour some of the contents into shallow bowls for mixing. The thick paints flow lazily from the can to the bowl, like syrup. I mix them, creating funny, hypnotic-looking swirl patterns that melt quickly into each other to form a new monotone hue. Rin sets to work, every now and then asking me for a hand with something or the other. Finding different brushes is easy enough, but mixing the paints to be the exact tone this girl has apparently seen in her head is a frustrating ordeal. She wants precision down to the last millimeter before she is satisfied, but her instructions are obscure at best. Add half a splash of green. I crouch down to pick up the can of bright green. The other green. This green. I carefully pour some of the other green paint into the mixing bowl. No, that's almost a whole splash. More white. Is green a good color to add? No idea. You're the artist here. A hint of a smile appears in the corners of her mouth. Do you lack an opinion? No, it's just... I have no idea. It's okay, because I just got an idea. Add more white. With this exclamation, I pour a minuscule amount of white into the bowl and mix it. It looks slightly whiter. That's not good. It has to be like the color when you wake up and you know that you saw the meaning of life in your dream, but you can't remember it. Maybe it's yellow. Despite the impossibility of mixing a color like the change of seasons or any other nonsense that's been imposed on me, I find myself enjoying it more than I thought I would. Seeing a painting being born on the plastered wall feels like magic. I spend the moments I have between mixing paints crouching down on the paving and just looking at her work. It feels slightly intrusive at first, like breaking some imaginary intimacy, but Rin doesn't seem to mind the least bit. Maybe it's just in my head. Her entire presence emits a completely different air as she patiently works the details, adding layers of paint on top of other layers of paint, steadily moving her foot across the wall to add new shapes. When I manage to produce a possible mixture of paint, the rare smile on her face is oddly rewarding. Apart from the few words when discussing paint mixes, neither of us says a word for the longest time. And even those short discussions soon evolve into a shorthand, both of us developing and using weird impromptu code words for various paints and hues, as if there was some need to conserve words and breath and sound. Oh. Got something done. We stay there late into the evening, until it becomes too dark to paint properly. Oh. Fade to black. Where are we going? Oh. To bed, I guess. Skip to the next day. Nope. Beep beep. The sound of an alarm pulls me out of a fitful slumber and into the unpleasant state of wakefulness. I linger under the blanket for a few minutes, gathering energy to rise up while making excuses for why I haven't already. Honestly, I wouldn't mind staying here all day. School is surprisingly exhausting after a long pause, and the culture shock still has not faded, I think. Still, despite getting an impression that skipping class is easy here, I don't think they're going to let me get away that easily. Need to blow my nose again. To be fair, I'm kind of surprised my hay fever's doing as well as it is today, given how much time I spent outside and walking the country roads. And the nurse is bound to keep breathing down my neck with the talk of exercising as well. So eventually I do rise up, swallow the morning medications, and put on my old soccer clothing. Thanks to my condition, I was exempted from taking part in gym classes at Yamaku, so I didn't get issued with a gym outfit. I'd order some to cover such contingency, but wearing my old soccer clothes is kind of nostalgic, as I'm going to do the dreaded exercise. Oh, that was one of the things I was trying to be productive today, so but there's kind of I had no access to any cars and no family had cars this week. My grandfather's van is in for like maintenance, so he's borrowing my grandmother's car, so it wasn't available. My mum and my little brother are both in holiday in England, so no car there. So I was like, I guess I can just walk into town and get the bus to go to the gym. But apparently I'm not feeling too great today, so I got to the gym, I was able to do like 10 goblet squats, and I'm like, I could not handle this, especially because I have to go back and walk another like 2 miles back home. The exercise just did not do me well today. At least I got plenty of walking and I got something done. I can't use them for that anymore, so maybe they can get a new life this way. A bit like me. After all, if I'm going to start taking care of myself, I can't afford to slack around. I'll start from the basics. Basics which include keeping the rest of my body in shape, along with what little I can do to strengthen my heart. Maybe then I can go back to something approaching a normal life. Or at least something where I'm less likely to fall over dead at any minute. I'm surprised to discover that I'm not the only one present at the track. Not just that, but it's a face I've seen before. Is this Emmy? The prosthetic-legged girl who bowled me over in the hallway yesterday is running on the track lively, like a half-mechanical gazelle. What was her name again? It was a short one, but I can't remember. She seems to be running laps at a somewhat easy lope, her prosthetic legs clacking rhythmically on the hard track surface. I wonder what reason she has for running this early in the morning. Maybe it's something akin to mine, and the nurse is oppressing the poor girl to jog just like he is oppressing me. Remember the nurse said you meet his spy? Oh, that. Okay, so I'm guessing if I hadn't said yes, I would start exercising. Would this morning have gone differently? I certainly wouldn't be here if it weren't for my health, and this prompted me to do so. And even with things being like they are, it's only because I wanted to get it out of the way early. The fact that I would be less likely to encounter someone who would witness my pitiful attempts to get in shape was merely a happy accident. I'd leave, but it seems that my former assailant noticed me on her last lap. She waves at me cheerfully and jogs over. Good morning. Your name is Hisao, right? She grins, seemingly pleased that she'd remembered my name. You may not remember me. Emmy? I knocked you over in the hall yesterday. Miss Ibarozagi? She imitates Misha imitating Shizune, failing to get the same kind of subdued lilt into her high-pitched voice. Not sure what Emmy most likely confirmed in Norse Hisao wasn't wrong. I suppose that's fair. How could I forget such a blunt introduction? Emmy has the decency to look vaguely apologetic for a moment before giggling. Yeah, sorry about that. Again. Well, so long as you don't make a habit of it, I suppose I'll be fine. Great. I'm not sure she realized I was joking. So the spy consultant the nurse was talking about, is that actually you? That's right. Oh, I was expecting someone from the nursing staff, to be honest. Are you saying I don't look like I could be a spy? No, this is more like a relief. I was afraid you would have someone to watch my every move. Unless you were here to do exactly that. No, I'm here for my own reasons. Nurse just asked me if I'd seen a messy-haired transfer student who looks like he's kind of lost around the track. So, why are you down here? Emmy strikes her dramatic pose. Training! For what? Track! Ah, I see. You're on the track team then? Emmy nods enthusiastically. Yep, I'm one of the better runners too. And modest about it too. Hey, you should join up. It's good exercise, you know. I think that much activity is probably out of the question for me. I'm not even sure that I really like running all that much. Plus, I'm just not into organized sports, you know? It's true, I never even really got that much into soccer. I mean, I'd run around with my friends and all, but that was really the only reason I ever played. It wasn't for the glory to be found on the field, that's for sure. Emmy seems to understand my meaning. I see. Not down into the whole organization thing. But now that you're here, I guess we're going to run together, huh? What? Sure, I guess. Emmy seems pleased. Are you going to warm up? Real men. No, you do warm up when you're going to do exercise. It's important. Real men don't warm up. Oh no, you should always warm up. Bad Hisao. She scolds me enthusiastically, but then smiles and leans closer. I hate warming up too. She laughs suddenly. Heck, and I don't even have to stretch my legs. As if to confirm her statement, she bounces up and down a couple of times, giving a passing impression of standing on a pair of springs. Her leg blades seem to be quite elastic. Let's go! So we both take off around the track, and I can immediately see that she wasn't lying about being good at running. Emmy moves fluidly, throwing herself into the run with a sort of wild abandon. I find myself concentrating more on running properly. Hands spread, right? I'm pushing the importance of stretching it. And something about hitting on the balls of your feet rather than the heels. I try to match my stride to Emmy's, but it's pretty difficult. Apparently I'm not very good at it. Maybe Emmy could help me with that sometime. I'm really not feeling up to more than a couple of laps today, and slow to a walk pretty quickly. Emmy keeps running and doesn't seem to notice I've stopped until she passes me a second time. She quickly skids to a halt, breathing steadily in contrast to my own somewhat gasping demeanor. Finished already? I hang my head ruefully. Yeah, I'm not in very good shape right now. Well, yeah, you were bedridden for... I can't remember exactly how many months it was. But yeah, he was in hospital for a while. That does tend to take a hit on your athleticism. Emmy nods and then grins at me again. She seems to do a lot of smiling. I'm trying to remember my Japanese because I think Emmy, like a possible translation of Emmy, depending on how it's written, is smile. Well, the important thing is you started, right? Next time you just have to try to hold out longer, and then longer, and longer, and eventually you'll be great. I'll keep that in mind. But I think right now I'm going to go get ready for class. Shouldn't you? Emmy shrugs unconcernedly. Nah, I've got plenty of time. I noticed that she's not wearing a watch. Are you sure? Another careless shrug. Not really, but I've got to finish my routine. See you later, Hisao. Yeah, see ya. I'm not sure whether this morning's experiment was a success or a failure, but I'll admit that I do feel slightly good about getting out there this morning. And like Emmy said, I just need to keep at it in order to get better, right? Practice makes perfect, or something like that. It's nice at least to feel like I've taken some semblance of control over my own health. I'll have to try to keep this up. Given that's a scene change, I think I might quickly just need to run to the bathroom. I've been drinking more than usual to kind of keep my throat from getting too sore. But I will be back in just a minute or two. No trouble. And I'm back. Now, hopefully my avatar is not too offset by me doing that, because I don't want to close. I don't want to tab out of the game, the Katawa Shoujo again. Alrighty, where were we? I head back to the dorms to wash and change into my uniform, trying to resist the urge to take a really long and hot shower. I'm tired from all the running, so I just want to unwind, but I don't want to break my slowly building routine of getting to school before the morning rush. So, I was thinking, I have been drinking quite a bit today. Like, I think I'm getting close to about 3 liters. Which option did I pick for the running? What option did I have? I don't think I had an option. I don't remember an option about the running. Now, after taking a long shower anyway, I dry myself off and get out of the stall to put on my clothes. Oh, hello, Kenji. Out of nowhere, a shadow appears within the mist, looming and radiating malicious intent. It bursts through the fog. Sup? What are you doing here? What the hell? He scared me. What's your problem? I should be asking you that. I've been looking for you all over the place, man. What do you mean, all over the place? I want to ask if he's been looking for me like that. Stark naked, but hold my tongue back. I finally realize I'm still naked too, and quickly hold up my shirt in front of me, but Kenji doesn't seem to notice a thing. His glasses are fogged up, but then why doesn't he wipe them off? Is his vision so bad it's like he's perpetually seen through fog? You know, your room and... Yeah, that's it. Hey, I mean, I still have to get up, though. Whatever, it's not important. Can I borrow some money? He puts on an innocent face and looks away, trying very hard to look casual. It doesn't work. He's as transparent as his window pane-sized glasses. Talking neutrally like this, wearing nothing, feels awkward. Actually, somehow it's even more awkward to be naked in front of someone when they can't see me being naked. To say nothing of the fact that he's naked as well. I try to brush the feeling off, with little success. Money? Sure. Awesome. Wait, why do you need it? Can't you just give it to me because I had the goodwill not to run through your pockets while you're in the shower? I could have, but I exercised restraint. Was that the congratulations, you're not as much of a jerk as you could have been. You don't get rewarded for not robbing me. I could have, but I exercised restraint. And in the end, isn't it the thought that counts? Come on, be a pal. We should try what? This makes no sense. If it's the fault that counts, I should withhold payment since his thoughts were so clearly impure. And his intentions are probably even more sinister since he can't tell me what they are. I say as much to him. I'm offended, man. If that is your game, then fine. Guess I have no choice. I want to order a pizza. I already have most of the cost of the pizza. I need your help for the rest. I get some of the pizza too, right? No. Are you serious? Yeah, I would give you some, but you have class. You don't have time to eat a pizza. What about you? I'm not going to class. I have to wait for the pizza and pay the guy, and then eat it. It's not easy. You have to obtain the pizza stealthily. If you don't, everyone will see you, and the pizza, and they will ask for a slice. It's a hard world out there. Everyone wants a piece. Then you're left pizzaless in an unforgiving world. It's happened before. That's how I know. Every day I plan my vengeance, so that when the people who wronged me order a pizza, I will be there, ever vigilant. Kenji strikes a dramatic pose, completely without irony. But yeah, I only need like 400 yen. Please, you're my only hope. I can't go outside and buy my own pizza. It's too far. I try not to go out unless it's absolutely necessary. Let me tell you what happened the last time I went out without carefully planning it out in advance. I was outside. I can't remember what I was doing. Something. Standing? Maybe wondering how I got there. And then, out of nowhere, it happened. Like a flash of lightning splitting the sky. Like how you split a sandwich into 2 equal pieces to make it more manageable to hold and eat. A bird crapped on my head. It was the second most shocking moment of my life. What was the first? He ignores me and keeps going. I want to grab him and shake him. Is he just trying to keep momentum? I'll go with that, even if it's more likely he just didn't hear me. It was like in the openings to some kind of anime show. You know how there's always a part where the main dude is fighting his rival and they fly at each other and clash swords and there's like a big dramatic colored auras and zoom? It was like that, but with poo. Okay. So yeah, I need some money. Please. Don't leave me hanging, man. I only need like 1,000 yen. You've more than doubled it. I thought it was 400. Okay. What? I'll pay you back, I swear. You better. That's what it means to borrow stuff. I don't know when I'll be able to pay you back. You have 1 week. Ah! Kenji winces and makes a noise like a dying cow. Particularly disturbing fact, given that his baton is conducting freely. You're not supposed to be so tight-assed out money between brothers in arms, man. Men have it bad enough as it is. Did you know that male porn stars only make about half of what female porn stars make? That doesn't mean anything unless you're a porn star. So maybe I am a porn star on the side, struggling to make ends meet as I fight the feminist agenda. And you can't even spot me your crumbs, you bastard. Nobody understands. Nobody. Shouldn't feminists be against pornography in the first place? This feminist agenda stuff again? This stuff is important. I can see that you don't give a shit, but this is serious here. Feminists are a dangerous enemy, make no mistake. You take them lightly and you'll wake up in the morning with a knife in your back. Bam! Out of nowhere. How do you wake up in the morning if someone stabbed you in your sleep? Kenji, you concern me, my friend. Women are terrible at stabbing things. Are they? I thought you just said don't take them lightly. Well, I don't mean to take them lightly for the big things. Individually, they're not a threat. But if there was some kind of war, like a big war, with men on one side and the feminist force on the other side, it would be pretty ugly. And that day will come, and the feminists come out of their central top-secret worldwide feminist headquarters and say, "It's on now, motherfuckers." You're being ridiculous. There's no big worldwide feminist headquarters building. Where would they even hide that? I mean, it'd have to be massive. You couldn't hide that on Earth. Don't, you're feeding the conspiracy now, Hisao. Don't stop talking. Someone would notice a big fortress with only women in it. Who said it was on Earth? Oh, never mind, he's already thought of this. I turn away from Kenji and start practicing frowning faces in the mirror so that I can figure out what kind of frown will best express my emotions. He can't see me from this distance anyway. Which, unfortunately, means that he just keeps on ranting without any regard to sense or sensibilities. Thing is, he just says, awkward bro naked and one can't see. Okay. I'm curious about how you imagine achieving that, but I feel that's a conversation for off stream. I don't know why already I feel Hisao should figure out that Kenji's going to keep talking as long as you permit him. He's not going to stop of his own accord. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, there's a war going on. A war not many know about, but it's a great one that will one day boil over and encompass all of the known world. And we will have to pick sides. We will have to make a stand. In fact, it's happening right now. Made you stammer, Mr. Shush you. Imagine it, a bloody battlefield. A vicious conflict without end. I almost gave up when I thought this cause was silly. When I grew tired of the bleakness of our fight. When I mistook the time the power went out for a feminist raid and thought the end was near. Then I realized that if I gave up, it would all be over. I was like, whoa, I knew I had to get serious. Because I am the last sane man in an insane world. It's about duty. Must be a pretty crappy movement if it all hinges on one naked guy ranting in a bathroom at another naked guy. So can I have the money? He's blogging the way out. It's getting cold because I'm still naked. I want to go to class, so I agree to spot him the money. Don't... You're falling for it, man. Awesome. Thanks, dude. We should go bowling later on. You don't leave the... Bowling? Yeah, it's the ultimate sport. There are almost no women bowlers either, making it also the manliest sport. Should I wear my pink bowling shirt with matching shoes or the pastel green with flower accents? There are bowling clothes? Maybe. Anyway, you'd better pay me back. I can pay you back in stuff, right? I don't have the time to ask him to elaborate on what that means. I don't know. I have to get to class. You're kind of in the way. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I don't want to hold you up, and I have some stuff to do myself. The time has come. Time for what? I just like saying that. Okay, now the time has really come. For what? I have to use the bathroom. Get out of it. I was just going to, and what's that mean? It's a big bathroom. So, I have to be alone or I can't go. The pressure. Okay, what if someone else comes in? I'll think of something. I give him my practiced frown, and it looks kind of silly reflected in his glasses. He either doesn't notice or doesn't see. Anyway, so I get dressed and run back to my room, feeling as though an eternity has passed since I woke up. It has been an eventful start to your day, Hisao. That is time I will never get back. I'll get him for this somehow. But right now I have to get to class. I'm the first person in class today, although I think I'm a little too early. Oh, that's a little I'm a little surprised. Then again, sitting alone here for 20 minutes sure beats having to suffer that time with Kenji. The combination of fatigue, frustration, and boredom starts making me feel very tired. Oops, I hit the wrong button. I accidentally minimized the game. I think I hit the Windows key instead of space. I black out for a second, waking up when my head hits the surface of my desk. Rubbing my forehead, I realize that this is as good a reason as any to stay up for now and stop coming to class so early later. Eventually, I hear a tapping noise outside in the hallway, and Lily's tall figure appears in the doorway. She's not in this class, so she must have some other business. Maybe she's looking for Hanako. Lily stops at the door, looking hesitant, as if she's a vampire who can't come in unless invited. I consider doing so because she looks rather lonesome standing there. She steps in on her own accord, though, after straightening her skirt and shirt collar, as if it was of importance to look prim when entering our classroom. Excuse me. She calls into the quiet classroom with a probing, delicate voice. I realize the silence might unnerve her because of her blindness, so I break it. Good morning, Lily. Hisao? Good morning. I didn't hear you come in. I wonder if she thinks it's suspicious I didn't say anything to her before. It's likely. If I were to tell too big a lie now, it would sink me. Well, I was already here, just asleep until now. Oh, have you seen Hanako today by any chance? No, she seems to come in only just before the bells ring, or after that. Do you want me to tell her something for you? No, it's fine. It's strange, but I think we're the only two people in the school right now. I didn't hear anyone else on my way here. I shouldn't have gotten up so early today, I guess. You're chastising yourself for doing something that other people should? Punctuality is a good thing. I think so anyway. It's a very busy morning today. The festival is coming up soon, and today is the deadline for event registration, budget reports, and any other official paperwork. It could be that everyone is trying to complete the necessary forms at the last minute. Maybe that is why it's so quiet today. Oh. Hi! Misha pops into the room with Shizune as if on cue, shouting with a loudness that makes Lily visibly flinch. Hi, Hichan. Hi. Oh, yeah. Shizune apparently doesn't get along with Lily. Look, it's the class representative. Hello. Lily smiles, probably amused by Misha's or Shizune's use of the word look. Good morning. Of course, you're not the representative of this class, right? I'm not. Lily seems a little more guarded in her answers to Shizune than she was with me the other day. I guess they really don't get along at all. Then I realized that Lily might actually not know Shizune is present, and she's trying to detect whether or not she is, to know who she is talking to. For all she knows, she's talking to Misha, but knowing that she and Shizune are basically inseparable, she might expect Shizune to be the one that actually talks. Damn, how complicated. I decide to help Lily out, for my own peace of mind more than anything else. You're here early, Shizune. You were here even earlier than us. Shizune and Lily was out. Yeah. I get the feeling Misha is the type who doesn't like really dislike anyone. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. I feel like I've got a like phlegm stuck in my throat. Misha likes everyone to be like, yeah, she kind of strikes me as that kind of character. Misha puffs out her cheeks angrily. Why is she getting angry? Does she feel emotions on Shizune's behalf too? It's not that weird though, that Shizune didn't like my little comment. It's true, I was here earlier than them, so me saying something like that could definitely be misinterpreted as anything. Especially to Shizune, who doesn't have the benefit of hearing tone to gauge intent. Before I can start weighing whether or not I should apologize, Shizune has already moved on. I do remember like seeing a video though of, and like from the church I used to go to had a sign language interpreter. I remember he said, like, point out like they do, like tone does exist in sign language. I think volume as well. Like I think I remember like it being he explained to me a bit that like when you're trying to be loud with sign language, you use a larger area to move your hands in. Whereas if you're trying to kind of sign quietly, you keep your hands like closer together and closer to your chest. At least I remember because it was like a little. He would do like very beginner classes on British Sign Language, which I really wish I could remember more of. Alrighty. Class rep, it's a good thing you're here. We have to talk. The festival is coming up in 3 days, right? Every other class has already handed in their projected budget reports for their events, even the first years. Except you. There's still time to hand it in, isn't there? Today! The deadline is today. You're certainly taking your time, aren't you? If I had it my way, I'd have had all the necessary paperwork days ago. But someone had to say, the deadline, please extend it. Yes, that was me. Planning something on this scale is not a small task. And a week is too small a time frame to expect a whole class to work out such a complex issue completely. Do you want to know what's harder than distributing the funds for one class event? Handling the same matter for every class in the school and then some. The one who does that is me. Misha puts her hands on her hips and stands up straight. Oh, she really is getting into the role. Lily doesn't look like she's very amused, though. Hey, Shizune, aren't you being a little too hard on her? There's still a whole day left. Please, Hisao, it's alright. Lily seems happy I'm taking her side, but a bit conflicted that I might not think she can take care of herself. If this is about the budget, then I'm disappointed you think I've forgotten about it. I understand how important this is. Then, can I have it, please? Shizune, she might not have it on her this exact second. It's not here right now. I asked 2 students to take care of it for me. Students from my class. She emphasizes the last sentence, much to my surprise. She knows about Shizune and Misha's efforts to rope me into the student council. I guess the word must have gotten around, so now she's using me as ammo against Shizune. This just gets better and better. It was your responsibility. A budget report isn't something you should just be delegating away. As a class rep, it's your job to be on top of things. This kind of disregard for proper procedure is really just terrible. They completed it, being capable of doing so, but the students have been sick recently, so they could not come to school and give it back to me. If you want, I will apologize on their behalf for getting sick. Okay. Although Misha misses Lily's little jab entirely, Shizune doesn't, and she seems torn between being offended by Lily's daring and jumping for joy at the prospect of a challenge. Lily, don't they live here at the school? That's a 5-minute walk, you know. What could they possibly have to prevent them from taking 5 minutes out of their busy lives to drop off something that will affect the enjoyment of their entire class? Lily opens her mouth to say something, but Shizune closes the gap between them and starts signing furiously, waving her hands around like an orchestra conductor. Misha tries her best to convey the same passion, but can't seem to lose her normal, cheerful tone. The result is interesting and somewhat surreal. And what's with that attitude? I said that it's not something you should be delegating away. Are you the class representative or aren't you? Tell me the names of these 2 students. They should have your job if you can't even handle something this simple yourself. One form isn't the full extent of what I'm supposed to take care of. Lily's tone is growing slightly impatient, but she is doing a good job of not letting Shizune see how unsettled she is becoming. She's playing her cards close to her chest. Shizune, on the other hand, wraps her fingers cheerfully along the edge of her glasses, knowing Lily can neither hear nor see how excited she is. Of course, you do so much, class rep. It must be so difficult being you. Lily tightens her lips at Misha's words, clearly understanding the intent behind them, even though Misha delivers them without even a hint of the sarcasm which they were meant to have. Shizune and Lily don't like each other. That much is clear, but this seems like a little much. It seems that Lily has had enough and is ready to push back. Oh. I was actually just discussing the budget report before you came by. You must be very talented to have finished all your student council duties so quickly that you can track me down to make sure I don't forget my own. Are you accusing me of slacking off? It seems like you're confusing me with yourself. I don't think so. That would be a very difficult thing for me to do, comparing myself to you. Never noticed a panty short ones. What? You're right. The difference between us is like heaven and hell. And it's not hard to guess which one you might represent. Oh, why did you have to point that out? The air between them ripples with the heat of their enmity. Well, not really. They can't disguise it anymore, though. Even Misha looks like she's beginning to understand the real nature of this conversation. Hichan, don't you slack off either. Because you didn't notice it before. Fair enough, I suppose. What are you talking about? Aren't you taking part in the festival, Hichan? You are, aren't you? Then, I hope you're going to do a lot more to make sure it goes smoothly than this person. I don't understand why Shizune is suddenly getting mad at me. This is one I'm kind of like, I'm not quite sure what my response would be. Let me see the text history again. Wait. She's bringing you into the fight. Yeah, I say I'm not good. I don't like the just kind of nope, don't. I'm not involved. This isn't me. No, especially because I don't. Yeah, I do kind of feel bad for Lily in this situation because The enmity seems like kind of one. Point out before result. Yeah, I do notice that. And that's why I'm kind of feeling that one, because I don't know, like it's clear that the enmity goes both ways, but Shizune seems far more like she seems to be the one who's quicker to jump to aggression. I don't like just the kind of like just hands up kind of nope, I'm not part of this, leave me alone. Hey, I'm the new guy, remember? It's not like I could have done much, even if I wanted. Oh, I didn't end up saying anything about Lily, though. That's right. You shouldn't expect a transfer student to jump right into it on his first week. Lily taking my side feels oddly comforting, so I decide to back her up too. Yeah, you're being unreasonable with us both. Excuses, excuses. Miss Class Rep has had plenty of time to deal with her report. And we repeatedly offered you a position to help with the student council work, but you refused to commit yourself to making the festival a success. Yeah, but as I said back then, I'm not sure if... I don't have time for this right now. No matter what I do, it will mean being drawn into a confrontation with Shizune. And that is what she wants. Whatever, forget it. I turn my back at them. I get back to my seat and shut my ears from the finale of the argument between Lily and Shizune. Eventually, Lily leaves our classroom and Shizune and Misha seat themselves without talking to me. I can feel Shizune's eyes burning into my back. She is probably angry with me, but I'm just as angry with her. I don't get why she had to drag me into the argument. Hanako doesn't come to class this morning at all, leaving her seat looking empty and lonely in the back of the classroom. I have to tell her that Lily was looking for her if I see her later. After the events of this morning, class is pretty boring in comparison. Yeah, it has been a pretty eventful morning. I turn the pages of my textbook lazily. I have a bit of catching up to do, despite trying to keep up with my studies at the hospital, but I'm not feeling that enthusiastic about it. The clock at the front of the room sounds unbearably loud. The teacher hasn't said anything in over 7 minutes, instead opting to cover the board in rows and rows of equations taken directly from the book. The rhythmic clashing of chalk on blackboard seems to synchronize perfectly with the ticking of the clock. That's one of the sounds that just really gets to me, is chalk on a blackboard. I was so glad in our school, like when we started moving to like whiteboards and markers. Just something about the scraping just really gets on me. I start to copy down the equations just to pass the time, even though they are right there in the textbook. When the bell rings, I'm not in a hurry because I have nothing to do. So I stay for a while, reviewing what we covered in class today. Think that was some... Yeah, it's one of those, like, there's a few noises that just really get to me, and chalk on a blackboard is one of them. I prefer to leave last anyway, so I don't have to deal with crowding in the hallways. I notice Shizune and Misha have also stayed behind, talking to someone from another class. Shizune is signing so fast that her hands make noises like swords cutting through the air. Maybe there's pent-up anger in there. Misha is trying desperately to keep up, but it's clear she can barely manage to even understand her. I put my head down. Whatever they're discussing, it looks like serious business. Shizune signs to the point where her wrists crackle, and Misha struggles to spit it out in word form. Sometimes she trips over herself like she's dealing with tongue twisters. And then on top of that, she has to sign back anything the other girl says. Seems like a rough job. Misha looks tired, like she's about to faint. Luckily for her, their business is soon finished, and the girls sit down on their seats again. I'm so tired. She's hanging her head limply on her desk, looking exhausted. I'll use the opportunity to reconcile Shizune a bit, without getting roped into the student council thing again. Though I suspect that door is now closed for me. Festival preparations must be tough for you. Indeed, the people in this school seem to be taking the festival very seriously. Whenever I see people idling around before and after class, they're always talking about their plans for it. It's kind of neat to see everyone being so enthusiastic about it. I'm probably the only one who doesn't have something to do. Shizune scoffs at me first, as if trying to decide whether to ignore or sneer at me. But in the end, she starts signing without doing either. Misha perks up, looking at her hands with slightly unfocused eyes. She signs with harsh, heavy, dramatic strokes. Misha translates her signing into speech for me. She does it so well, it's almost like Shizune is actually speaking, transmitting her thoughts directly through Misha. She must have practiced it vigorously. Well, of course, we're in the student council, you know, so we're pretty busy. It's an important duty of ours to ensure the success of the festival with all our strength. We would shame ourselves in front of the past student council generations if the festival were to fail. That's why there must be no flaws, I think that was encumbrances? No nothing that might make the festival short of perfect. Shizune's passionate speech and Misha's acting are really oddly fitting of them. Oh, hello! Oh, hi Hanako. I look over my shoulder and see Hanako peering timidly into the classroom, most of her body hidden behind the door. Hey, playing delinquent again? Wait. That feels rude. Hanako blushes hard at Misha's straightforward jab, even if it was only in jest. Shizune stares at her probingly, causing Hanako to look down and start backing away to the point where only her fingers can be seen wrapped nervously around the edge of the door. Maybe she is showing her dislike of Hanako by association of her dislike of Lily. It appears so, and Hanako probably knows it as well. What is it, Hanako? Has Lily been here? Sorry, haven't seen Sato. She came by in the morning though. Hanako keeps looking uneasily at Shizune, who stares back at her with her usual studying gaze. What is she trying to do? Of course, Shizune isn't going to look away, and she is intimidating enough as it is, so I can only imagine how terrified Hanako would be. It is a little uncomfortable watching Hanako's reaction to Shizune's normal behavior. This is what happens when two people of two different extremes meet, it seems. Do you know where she is? If she has any sense in her head, she's in her classroom, working on their festival project. But who knows where that woman is loitering at? Hanako nods quickly and retreats with haste. What are we talking about? Oh yeah, we're working really hard to make the festival happen. And driving other people insane along the way. Well, good luck with that. I stand up to leave, making my exit before either of them manages to berate me anymore for slacking off. The halls are somewhat quiet, as expected. Everyone must be in club meetings or in festival preparations, or both. Shizune's words about being a slacker echo in my head. I feel a bit guilty about not contributing, but I seem to lack the resolve to do something concrete about the matter. For the festival, it's too late already, unless I count helping Shizune and Misha, which I naturally don't. And clubs, I don't know. Maybe I'm not a club type of person. Halfway through the way from the school building to the dorms, I spot a figure in front of the dorms. It's Rin. It looks like she is working on her mural today too. I walk over to her, but she doesn't seem to notice me approaching. She's sitting on an upturned box, looking intently at the wall she is painting with a brush held between her toes. The mural has progressed considerably since yesterday, but it's still only half done as far as I can tell. More colours have appeared, and the twisted human-like figures have spread and increased in number. I have to say, the style is quite eye-catching and very unique. Not that I would be knowledgeable about art by any measurable scale, but it's very nice looking nevertheless. I clear my throat to get her attention, but not startle her so that her concentration won't break. Wait. She doesn't even turn to check who it is. I'll wait. For a while, apparently. 15 minutes later, I decided her concentration is indeed unbroken, and also that I have waited long enough to warrant poking her gently on the shoulder to remind her of my presence. Rin turns her head mechanically to my direction, ending up staring at my crotch. Oh, it's Hisao. She can tell? I would feel a lot less uncomfortable if she would look at my face. An astute observation. Hard at work, I see. The conversation starts as if I hadn't been here for a quarter of an hour already, but it's not a concern. At least it starts. Looking good. It does. The layers of paint hiding other layers of paint, mixing and shaping the human figures really create an impressive look, but Rin looks miffed. You shouldn't comment on works in progress. 7 years of bad luck. Sounds terrible. I guess I'll take it back then. Still, it looks good. I wonder if I get 14 years of bad luck for thinking that. Rin turns back to look at her painting and pokes it with a big toe. Do you mix some of this color? I'm running out of it. She looks down at a half-empty bowl with the remains of the same pinkish paint in it. I didn't really intend to stay and help her with this project, though. I guess I didn't intend to do anything much. I look at Rin. She looks emptily back at me. Just this once. Rin picks up another brush and drenches it in another tone of pale red. There are dozens of similar bowls all around her working area. From the looks of this scene, she could have been sitting there for hours. I wonder if she has. That would mean she'd have been skipping school, though, which I, of course, wouldn't put beyond someone like Rin. I pour a little bit of white and red into the bowl, trying to match the colour with the one already on the wall. I can't seem to get it right. It's really inconvenient of her to not mix enough in the first place. Getting it to be exactly the same tone will be impossible, but at least I can try to get as close as I can. Speaking of hard work, isn't that a huge workload for you too? It's such a big painting and all. Oh, I'm not old and bitter enough yet to think like that. I guess you aren't. You guessed right. Legs hurt though. They feel like slugs. Slugs made of sea slugs. Because of the position. Yeah, I like doing it in a horizontal position. If you know what I'm talking about. But it can't be helped. Can't ask the wall to lay down. Saying that, she stretches herself a little, bending her legs and back far more than a human should flex. It's astonishingly how effortlessly she manages her body around. There's a small flinch in her otherwise blank expression. A hint of pain, maybe? As she stretches out her calves. Rin must have stamina and dexterity far above a normal person to be able to live like she does. But she's wearing out working on this. Why push yourself so much? Take a break or something at least. Continue tomorrow if it's bad. This gives her a pause. A long one too, feeling like a mental yawn. I don't think so, Hisao. I'm not pushing myself. It sure looks like you are. No, it's not about pushing or pulling or anything related to that kind of thing. There's this boy. A boy? Yes. Where? At the art club. And he is blind. Oh, how can you paint if you're blind? No idea. So why is he there? That's the point. He is there. She really should speak more than one word at a time to make this feel more like a discussion and less like an interrogation. He can't really do anything that you call art, right? But he comes there anyway, and paints. Why? I don't know. Why? I don't know. That's why I asked. So... He doesn't paint often, but I think his paintings are very interesting. I'm sure they are. I once tried that, painting with eyes closed. Wasn't too interesting, and cleaning up the floor took ages. Didn't try again. But he is becoming better at sculpting. I see. Maybe she was trying to make a point of this. Maybe she forgot she had one. It seems like the art club is full of interesting people. Not really. Pretty blunt statement, and she totally missed the sarcasm. No? Just like I said, they're not very interesting. I usually don't have much interest in people who are not interesting. Maybe you have. Maybe. But that boy is interesting. Maybe I am like that boy. Or maybe you are. Maybe everyone is. Doing things you can't do just because you can. That's pretty deep, I think. And tell that to her. You're a deep one. I'm a really shallow and thoughtless person. People say that to me all the time. Did you know I can only think of 4 things? You can 4? What are you doing where you can think of 4 things? I struggle to think of 1 sometimes. No, but now I do. Right now I'm thinking of the second floor's girls' toilet, ice cream flavored ice cream, middle toe, and a haircut. I'm going to need a haircut. Oh. She shakes her head around vigorously, letting her short and messy hair ruffle wildly around. I can see that doing it is something she likes to do. We fall silent as Rin treads around absentmindedly, poking some brushes around. The thought about the art club sticks in my head for a while longer. I'm feeling like I'm treading on very unknown territory of art. The way these meetings with Rin go, it's as though I'm starting a smoking habit or something. I should probably stop talking with her. It's not like I dislike her, despite the confusion her being herself causes. And I don't dislike art either. I've even drawn for fun sometimes. I just don't have a real creative drive or any technical skill. So usually if I were to draw something, I get white paper syndrome and just freeze completely. That, or I manage to draw something disfigured and promptly get frustrated at my inability to put the picture of my head down on paper, then call it quits without really even trying to make an effort. Don't call me out like this, Hisao. Rin clearly doesn't have this problem, but she frustrates me in another way. Being with her is like looking into a mirror that doesn't reflect anything. It makes one question the sanity of the act. Do really? I want to be good at art, but I could never figure it out. Rin sits down on her box, swaying from side to side, apparently comfortable with the uncomfortable silence. She is staring at me again, or maybe over my shoulder. I can't quite figure out where her eyes are focused. I'm thinking of leaving so she can carry on working undistracted, and that I can go do whatever I'm going to do alone. It's not like I have anything that must be done today. Oh, shoot. Who? Nobody. I just forgot to tell Hanako that Lily was looking for her. Do you know her? From my class? Oh, her. The mystery toilet girl. That person is funny. I saw her going to the toilet 5 times during one recess 3 weeks ago. I'm sure it's the world record. It was very mysterious. That's why you call her Mystery Toilet Girl? Whatever reason could there possibly be? Well, if there is, it's an eternal mystery. I didn't follow her in there. Maybe it was the week before that? It could have been. Looking at her makes me hungry. Okay? Don't say that. At least not around her. Rin turns to look at me blankly, as if she's not sure why I reproved her. But she doesn't acknowledge understanding any more than before, so I give up at this point. So, do you want to go eat dinner then? No, not yet. Rin has turned her hungry gaze back to the wall, looking slightly more energetic, or at least slightly less lethargic than she did before. It's as if the wall is an opponent she has to vanquish, something she must overcome before she can indulge in dinner. This is the feeling I get. A weird sense of empathy overcomes me and makes me smile a little to myself. For all her oddity, Rin is pretty cool after all. I'll be going anyway. Have fun. Rin has already grasped the brush and is dipping it into fresh paint. So, of course, she can't hear me anymore or doesn't answer or anything, even if she does. Adhering to the nurse's nagging voice in the back of my head, I set my alarm clock to wake me up early enough to go jogging again. I made a promise and I'm going to keep it. Besides, Emmy is bound to rat on me if I don't show up. But it's not all that bad. Oh, another new day. Did we ever go and try to find Hanako? Or did we just kind of go, well, that's a lost cause, and give up? My morning alarm goes off, and I flail about uselessly for a while until I remember that I'd decided to give morning runs another shot. I don't know if this was my greatest idea, but I'm determined to keep going. This is about my health, after all. Sure, things haven't been great lately for me, but that hasn't made existence so intolerable that I'm not going to try everything I can to stay healthy. Besides, it's all about asserting some kind of control over this thing, right? If I can manage that, well, I can manage anything. At least that's what I keep telling myself. Once again, it would appear that I'm not alone in my run. Emmy has apparently been here for some time. It looks like she's already worked up a good sweat. So when the hell does she come down here anyway? Oh, it's you. I'm surprised to see you again. Why is that? Well, not many people actually manage to come back for a second try. She frowns, seemingly annoyed by a passing thought. Like the rest of the track team, for instance. Still, it was only supposed to be on a volunteer basis, so it's not that big of a shock. I guess it is pretty early in the morning. A shrug, and suddenly it appears that she's forgotten what she was talking about. The frown disappears entirely, and she seems to snap back to her previous train of thought. So, come on then. What? You're here to run again, right? Well, yes. So come on. I find myself suddenly grabbed and yanked onto the track. Things seem to be set on mirroring yesterday's run. That is, I seem to be struggling, while Emmy moves with an effortlessness that I find enviable. It's incredibly bothersome to be so easily worn out. I know I should be patient, work towards things gradually, but it's difficult to stay positive about this. We round the track and start on a second lap. Emmy seems to have grown impatient keeping pace with me and begins to pull away. This is where I gave out yesterday. Will I be able to do more? Ooh. That's... Well, I know which one I do, but I kind of am kind of nervous as well that we are kind of said, like, we were like, exercise, but careful not to push yourself. It's okay to push yourself a little, isn't it? Because I know that's something my personal trainer has like said before. Like, if you're like, exercise doesn't do you anywhere near as much good if you stop like the moment you feel uncomfortable. It's pushing into that discomfort that actually makes it helpful. I just hope this doesn't become something I regret. What am I doing here? Am I really just going to fold and let Emmy pull it? When I said go for it, I thought do more, not try and compete with someone who seems to be, you know, far more experienced than you. I speed up. The second lap's done quickly, and without even considering it, I keep going. Emmy looks back over her shoulder at me and grins. Still going? Wouldn't want you to think I'm out of shape. Boy. Emmy laughs, without breaking her stride no less, and speeds up even more. Yet don't try and compete. Well, if this is the way we're going to play things, I increase my own pace as well. Careful, Hisao. I can feel my lungs burning, and my legs are starting to question just what the hell I think I'm doing. Lactic acid screams in my muscles, but I close my ears. I can't let myself fall behind, because that would be a loss. The rational voice in my head inquires mildly just when we started playing a game. Oh no, Shizune's influence. We're getting too competitive. I'd answer it, but I'm having a lot of trouble thinking at present. She's so fast. How the hell does she keep it? Yeah, stop, buddy. It's like a string pulling at my chest. A choking feeling of narrowness and pain. Before I can think of anything else, then, oh shit, the track disappears from under my feet. I stumble, one hand shooting down to clutch at my chest, the other hitting the track to keep me from falling on my face. Emmy whirls around and her eyes widen. Hisao! She yells at me, sprinting from the other side of the track. What's wrong? Nothing. Just keep your breathing steady. Calm down. Don't panic. Don't panic. Do you need me to get the nurse? I close my eyes, shutting out the outside world. My heart struggles to regain its rhythm. Slowly, the pain in my chest begins to subside. Soon, it's gone, like nothing happened. It was nothing? No, something happened there. I opened my eyes again and glanced at very worried Emmy. I think I'm fine. My voice sounds weird, even to myself. Oddly even and matter-of-fact. It makes Emmy frown. I don't think you are. She seems to come to a decision and nods to herself. Right, you're coming with me. You've got to see the nurse. Emmy grabs my arm and drags me up. I feel a bit wobbly, but I refuse to shoulder Emmy offers for support. Honestly, I'm a little ashamed by my own weakness. I'd really rather not have Emmy concerned about me, but it seems to be too late. Heck, I'd really rather not have anyone concerned about my condition. Though at this point it seems to be too late for that as well. I'd like to be able to deal with the whole thing on my own, without being a bother to anyone else. While I'm wishing for things, I'd rather not have this condition in the first place. Nurse! Emmy crashes into his office without knocking, but it doesn't alarm the nurse in the least. Good morning, Sunshine. What's up? Sunshine? Anyway, he calmly sips from his coffee mug, but lays it down after following Emmy's gaze to me looming in the doorway. Hisao, what brings you here? We were running and he stumbled over and started grabbing at his chest and... Oh. Some of these things, like... Am I not supposed to read what she's saying? I thought I'd come get you and make him wait there, but he said it was okay, but then I thought you'd see him anyway. Easy there, Emmy. Calm down. Hisao, what happened? I don't know. We were running and then my chest started hurting like that time before, but it went away after a few seconds. It was just a flutter or something. They just go by so fast to emphasize how quickly things... Yeah, I kind of get that. It's just kind of as boring. But I'm trying to read that game. You're just bringing a text. Yeah. I do know. Is there a quick button for text history? Let me... Hold up. Options. Auto mode delay. I can't see anything there. Oh, wait. Nope, I don't want that auto mode. Okay, no, turn that off. Wait, no, it's still on. How do I turn it off? Okay. I know the auto skip button. Okay, auto mode I do not want. The nurse frowns, as if to say that just a flutter is some kind of oxymoron. I didn't mean quite this when I suggested to get some exercise. You've got to be more careful, Hisao. I was being careful, come to think of it, I just got into a race with a member of the track team. Doesn't seem as well reasoned as I thought it would. You just what? That is... I was racing Emmy. Emmy, is this true? Emmy fidgets, looking adorably contrite. Well... Finally, she can't seem to bring herself to say it aloud and merely nods. Should have just left it alone. Yeah, I should have just left it alone. I wasn't sure if it was like, is this a toggle or is this like the settings for auto mode? The nurse sighs and rubs at his forehead with one hand tiredly. Emmy, you've got to be more sensitive to the limits of others. I don't know if he told you, but Hisao has a bad heart, and getting him to race you was incredibly irresponsible. But to be fair, she didn't. That was my choice. That was it. Actually, I started it. The nurse is stunned by my statement. You what? We were just running and Emmy started to pull away, and so I sped up to catch her. The nurse stares at the ceiling, mutters a prayer for patience to some god or another, and looks down at both of us. So you're both stupid. Oh boy. That's a comfort, I guess. Now come on, Hisao. Got to make sure your heart's not going to explode or something. I dutifully obey and follow him to the adjacent room where we ascertain that I am, in fact, not going to keel over and die. So, how does it feel? I don't know. Nothing much. Tired, but it might be from the exercise. You should stay here for a few hours and rest. We'll see how you feel after that. Don't want any exploding hearts here. Nope. No. I can't risk breaking something that belongs to you, can I now, Money? I'm not going to object, so I lie down on the infirmary bed. A thoroughly miserable Emmy comes in after getting an earful from the nurse in the other room. I couldn't hear what he said through the closed door, but I'm sure it wasn't pleasantries. Look, I'm really, really sorry. I should have been more careful. Hey, you didn't know. It's not your fault. She looks awfully down and sorry, and my reassurances don't do anything much to cheer her up. I want to make it up to you. Again with that decisive nod. So, you have to come to lunch with me. I'll bring it for you, okay? Something really, really good. I start with a, you don't have to, but then shut up and just nod at her when I see her face. Good. We meet on the roof. Oh, okay, I had been wondering that if, I can't remember what it was that Rin said that made me feel Emmy was quite possibly her friend. You think you know which way the prologue is going? Oh, okay. Well, I'll trust you no more than I do. We? Yep, the weather's nice now, so the roof is a great spot for lunch, you know. I see. You'll come, right? You wouldn't deny me the chance to make it up to you. Of course not. Great. See you there. I stay afloat somewhere between asleep and awake, feeling completely drained. Not only my body, but all of me is limp and paralyzed, apart from my senses. I swallow with difficulty and then try to lie as still as I can, which in this state is not a very hard thing to do. The nurse is shuffling around on the other side of the curtains. The nurse is shuffling around on the other side of the curtains he drew to give me privacy. I can see his shadow shifting about in the sunlight. He has opened the window of his office. It's windy outside. Certain decisions will make the narrative slowly shift towards her. Yeah, I haven't played many, but I know enough about visual novels to know how things work. I feel like myself, like from some of the choices I've made, I'm feeling like I have vague feelings where I'm leaning towards, but I've definitely not narrowed it down. Not enough to make us to kind of go, yeah, I know what road I'm on. The clean white curtains flutter in the breeze in a heavy, lazy motion, like waves. Light sifts through them slowly, half absorbing into the fabric. Oh, fallen asleep? I close my eyes. The breeze on my face feels like the soft fabric of the curtains. I listened to the sound of my heartbeat for a moment, trying to shut out the sound of the nurse tapping away on his computer, and my own heavy breathing. It's steady. Damn it. Not even a week and I end up like this again. I really screwed up this time. Should have known better than to play the half-baked sports star in front of a real one. Why did I try to act brave? Like that heart flutter was no big deal, even when it was obvious that it was. It was just a reflex. To push it away. To keep it inside. I didn't want it to happen. I didn't want Emmy to see it. Stupid, stupid, stupid. I have to be more careful. Or I'll end up in hospital again. Or worse. That's my final thought before I give in to the tiredness. Oh, you're not missing your lunch engagement? I fell asleep. For how long? What time is it? I know that feeling. I'm feeling a little lightheaded and I keep blinking compulsively. Pushing the curtain aside, I squint my eyes against the unfiltered light pouring in from the window. The texture of the canvas feels nothing like the wind did before. The nurse looks up from his work, sitting exactly where he was before. How are you feeling? I can't really tell, so I don't answer anything. I'm feeling kinda groggy from falling asleep at such a weird time. Hopefully I don't look too weird. What time is it? Me croaking the question to gain some orientation. The nurse looking at his wristwatch before answering. Things seem to happen in slow motion. Quarter past 10. I try to think for a moment what that means, but I'm not really sure. You didn't answer my question, Hisao. Oh, fine. Climb down from that bed then, and let's see how you're doing. Don't. I try to do exactly that, only to sway dizzily when I move too fast. The nurse moves to support me by an arm and sighs. Stand up too quickly is what I was going to say. Just sit there. I'll check your pressure to make sure. My good intentions sure lasted for a long time. I shut up, embarrassed with myself, while the nurse gets busy with an old-fashioned contraption on my arm. After a couple of minutes, he puts it away, looking neither pleased nor unhappy. You're alright. Head stopped spinning? Yeah. Good. And how are the contents doing? You didn't show very good judgment out there, Hisao. I swallowed a retort I was going to make. It's what I was thinking myself, but hearing it stated by somebody else makes me want to protest. What he's saying is not pleasant to hear. Doesn't make him any less right. No, sir. He nods, still looking as neutral as he was before. It would be easy to be angry at him if he said told you so or something, but he doesn't. I can try and help you to keep your health, but ultimately the last call lies with you. Hopefully this little episode will be something that'll remind you of that. Here, a note for your teacher, to avoid an interrogation. I take the slip of paper he's offering and then make my leave as I can't think of anything else to say, nor even really want to. Stay out of trouble, you hear me? I don't think it was anything but a scare, but next time could be different. I hear you. There's some way to get to the school building straight from the auxiliary building, but I'm not keen to find out and possibly get lost. So I go from the exit that I know works. I stop at the stairs of the auxiliary building, deliberating for a moment between going to the dorms to get my books and stuff or going straight away to the class. The sun stings my eyes, so I head towards the dorms. The halls are quiet as the courtyard was, naturally so since everyone is in class. I knock lightly at the door of Free and push open the door when Muto calls from the other side. Sorry I'm late. 15 pairs of eyes turn to me. Good morning, Nakai. Muto seems to be somewhat confounded by my coming in late, as if I interrupted his flow or something. Judging from the rambling lectures his classes tend to be, that might be the case. I pass him the note the nurse gave me. Muto takes it with a nod and reads it quickly. He lifts his eyebrows and gives me a kind of stern look, but doesn't say anything, just nods solemnly again. I shrug and he gestures at me to run along, so I naturally do. The class goes on lazily. I think I'm starting to get into the rhythm of school. I've even stopped worrying about taking notes and being overtly attentive. The first days, I was pretty high-strung in the class. Muto finishes his lecture about electricity early, but continues without a pause about the festival. So, as you know, the festival is on the day after tomorrow. I hope everyone's projects are going to be successful this year. Have a good time, but also come Sunday, please keep the meaning of this festival in your minds. Games and fried food! Everyone bursts out in laughter, and so do I. Yes, thank you, Mikado. What I meant was more the remainder of his sentence is buried beneath the ring of the lunch bells, and everyone starts packing their things. Muto deliberates for a moment, but since almost nobody seems to pay attention anymore, he gives up and sits down. Oh, crowd. It's crowded in the hallway. Or as crowded as hallways in this school probably get. Most of the students seem to be heading down for the cafeteria. Normally, I'd join the flow and grab a lunch myself, but today is different. Today, I've been invited to lunch on the roof. An odd location, but that's where I was told to go. Fortunately, I managed to find shelter from the storm in the lee of the classroom door. Eventually, the torrent subsides, and I step tentatively out into the hallway, only to be met by Emmy, who comes flouncing down the hallway like a cannonball. Hey! Hi, Hisao! Great timing! I have super extra lunch today, as promised. Let's go upstairs. The stairway to the roof is a little dilapidated, but it's clearly been used recently. At the top of the stairs is a door, complete with missing padlock. I wonder who the intrepid individual was that removed the lock. Emmy shoves the door open and steps beaming into the sunlight. Oh, hello, Rin. Suddenly, a tall, dark stranger appears out of nowhere, standing imposingly in front of us. Emmy flinches back, almost falling back down the stairs. Eek! Hello. Yeah, you scared me, Rin. Wait, isn't she? Hello. Noticing that Rin is speaking to me, Emmy looks curiously at me. You two know each other? I look confusedly at Emmy. She's that friend of yours? Rin has turned her gaze towards the clouds drifting above the school. I didn't know you knew this person, Emmy. The awkward silence lasts only for a few seconds until Emmy lets out a tiny giggle, shrugging the coincidence off. I invited Hisao for lunch. If you know him, that's just better. Oh, does this mean I don't get food? Or did you invite him for lunch without the lunch? Neither. I have food for free. Nice thinking. They walk to the other end of the roof while I stay at the clock tower for a while, taking in the atmosphere. There's nobody else but us up here. I guess the roof is not as popular as it is in other schools. A few rundown benches and tables are scattered around the edges, perhaps in an attempt to make the rooftop look less desolate. The small pebbles covering the roof rattle beneath our feet. I peek through the chain-link fence to take a look at the school grounds and beyond. Students are... Excuse me? Another yawn. Students are strolling in pairs and groups around the quadrangle and at the cafeteria. A few delivery trucks are driving past the school towards the convenience store nearby. Somewhere a watchdog barks at a passerby. Somehow, when I look towards the town centre, the small town feel strikes me very strongly, almost palpably. The hectic lifestyle of big metropolises seems so far away and foreign here. Nobody has to run to catch a bus like their life depended on it, or get their senses overloaded by the neon lights and traffic jams. I feel surprisingly optimistic about this new life of mine, looking at my new hometown, even if it's going to be mine for only one short year. I do like the small town feel. Finding out about my illness and having to move away from home all came so suddenly I haven't had time to think about how I feel about it. When I step out of the shadow of the clock tower to the open, I feel warmth touching my back. The
sun shines from a perfectly clear cerulean sky. A cool breeze sweeping over the rooftop makes me shiver, but only briefly. The wind carries the scent of trees and flowers, not smog and car exhaust like it used to just a few weeks ago. Emmy settles on a bench with Rin in tow and produces one big and two small lunchboxes from her bag. Come on, Hisao, what are you waiting for? She is beckoning me to join them, making room on the already small bench. I seat myself on the corner of the bench to take as little space as possible. It's pretty cramped, but somehow all three of us fit on it. Impressive view. Emmy suppresses a giggle and places a lunchbox in front of Rin, and hands another lunchbox to me. Here you go. Lunch, as promised. Homemade, no less. I'm impressed. Wow, this looks really good. Thanks. I made it myself when I can. I make it myself when I can. Conversation dies off as I set about the business of feeding myself. Taking a few bites, I glance up and notice Rin deftly opening the lunchbox and popping a forkful of food into her mouth using only her feet. Even though I've seen it before, I can't help but be impressed at her dexterity. It's also a reminder of the sort of place I am in right now. Will I ever get used to sights such as this? I can't decide if getting used to such a thing would be a good thing or a bad thing either. Does getting used to this place mean that I'm giving up on being a normal person? Or does it just mean that I'm becoming more understanding about those around me? I'm distracted from my thoughts by the sight of Emmy tearing into her lunch as if it had insulted her ancestors. Hisao doesn't like talking while eating. You seem pretty hungry. Emmy looks up, mouth half full, and swallows before nodding. My morning run always works up an appetite. Which is great, because then I burn through lunch pretty quickly. Helps me keep my girlish figure. What would happen if you'd lose it? Would you become a man? I very nearly choke on my lunch trying not to laugh. It's a figure of speech. Does your figure have to run in the mornings too? Do you always talk like this? Talk like what? I think that answers my questions. Never mind. So, I struggle to think of small talk and settle on the obvious question. How'd you two meet? Rin seems content to let Emmy answer this question. Someone in the housing department thought that we complement each other well, so we were assigned rooms next to one another. Complement each other? Like shoes and a suit. Well, that feels... I know, part of that feels a little, like, presumptuous to me to kind of go, oh, unless, like, did the person, like, know more about their personalities and that's why they put them together, or was it as simple as, well, one has no legs, one has no arms? Huh? Emmy giggles at my confusion. Put us together and we've got all our limbs, get it? Ah. So I started helping Rin get ready in the mornings, and that was that. I mean, you can't help someone get dressed every morning and not get along. I see. Rin chooses this moment to interject. I have trouble with shirts. Right, that seems fairly obvious. Really? Kind of? This isn't helping, but at least Emmy seems to find the whole thing funny. That, combined with the fact that Rin is genuinely curious, makes me feel slightly better and yet confused. I mean, you've got no arms. So putting on a shirt seems like one of those things that would be difficult. You know what? I'm just going to stop talking now. It'll save me a lot of trouble in the long run. Rin nods in what I suspect is meant to be a sage manner. I see. The conversation dies as I turn my attention back to my lunch. It's really quite good. Emmy finishes her lunch first and makes a contented noise. It's maybe best that they don't describe the food, because I'm kind of feeling pretty hungry myself right now. I'll probably need to go and grab dinner after stream. Ah, that was good. As she busies herself with cleaning up her lunch, Rin speaks up. I'm thirsty. Oh, I almost forgot about that. Sorry. With a flourish, she reaches into her bag and removes a trio of juice boxes. She tosses me one that appears to be cranberry juice, one to Rin that appears to be some kind of strawberry milk, complete with pink colour scheme, and keeps an equally pink box of some kind of fruit punch for herself. I will, my dear, do not worry. It's weird, I have actually like had a proper meal today. I shouldn't be feeling the shakes. Rin dexterously stabs her straw through the top of her box and begins to drink. I'm once again impressed by how flexible she is, but this time I keep my comment to myself. Somehow, I don't think Emmy or Rin are the sorts of people to think twice about the way they work around their particular disabilities. Rin especially so. Indeed, she gives off the impression of being entirely unaware that she's missing any limbs at all. I wonder... See, that's the kind of question. I wonder if, like, is that... Like, was she born without arms? I'm assuming, like, depending on, like, how well we get to know each character, the more we'll learn about their situation. Whether or not that's a conscious decision is another matter. I'm honestly not sure. So, Hisao, how'd you like it up here? It's quite nice, actually. I like high places. For the view. Thanks for inviting me up here. And for the lunch, too. Emmy grins a 1,000-watt grin, pleased by my response, I suppose. No problem. Feel free to eat with us next time, too, okay? I won't make you a lunch, but you can bring your own up here. No lunch service? I don't know. Emmy looks mock offended. Trying to take advantage of my good nature? The nerve. She giggles. Well, if that's your answer, I guess Rin and I will just keep eating lunch all alone. I am suddenly assaulted by the most heart-rending puppy dog eyes I've ever seen as Emmy pouts. Kidding, I was kidding. I'd love to eat lunch up here again. Good location, and the company's okay too. Emmy frowns a bit at my declaration of okay, but seems happy enough that I've accepted her invitation. I guess this makes us friends now. Or at least acquaintances. The lunch bell rings, signaling a return downstairs. Rin, you didn't finish your lunch again. I wasn't that hungry. If you don't eat more, you're going to fade away. Rin shrugs as if this is an acceptable risk. Come on, we'd better get going. No, I wonder, is that then what she finishes, like, after school? The three of us head down the stairs together. Actually, I was planning to wait for the end of today to finish up, like, this today in game to finish up the stream. But given I'm not sure how long it's going to head on, I think this is a good point to maybe actually put down a save. Especially as I am kind of... I'm feeling the shakes. I'll overwrite that save. Alright. Foot and mouth. Okay, so I don't know how much progress I made, but I'm quite enjoying this so far. This has kind of given me the feeling that maybe I should try some more visual novels. I do some more reading stuff. And it's definitely nicer to do it on stream. Like, in my own time, I feel I don't have the attention span and the focus for it. But on stream, when I'm focusing on reading it out loud, I'm kind of like making sure I'm setting aside dedicated time for it. I'm quite enjoying it. But I'll maybe have to see, because I do have a fairly long list of other games to do on stream. But yeah, there will be no... Yeah, it's nice to read out loud at the cost of our throat voice. Yeah. Depends on what kind of characters you're voicing. Like, if I had to do a whole visual novel with a character like Hildebrand, like that would take a toll on my voice. But so far in Katawa Shoujo, most characters feel like fairly, like, restrained. I feel outside of Kenji and Misha, there's not too many voices that I'm really feel are gonna push me that much. Unless there's like other characters I haven't met yet. But yeah, no stream tomorrow, but I'll be back on Thursday with some Monster Hunter. And yeah. We'll say, I'm not sure exactly when it starts, but over July, my church's midweek meetings are going to be kind of put on hold for a bit. Just because there's going to be so many people away on holiday and such that we can't really hold them. But that does mean that I can probably... My birthday is coming up. But yeah, it means over July that I might be able to do for a few weeks, have an extra stream on Wednesdays. Which probably means I'll get 2 streams of Katawa Shoujo a week. Which I'm kind of looking forward to. It feels like kind of a shame to only have 1 a week. But I'd kind of also... I don't think I have any other visual novels like lined up. So I kind of want to take my time with it. And though I know if I go to only like 1 stream of Monster Hunter a week, I'm going to suffer with the muscle memory. So, but yeah. As usual, my schedule, like what I'm streaming and when I'm streaming, that's all available on my Discord. There's links to that in my YouTube and my Twitch. And yeah. Monster Hunter on Thursday. I'll be back with Mooney in Final Fantasy XIV on Friday. Nose is getting itchy again. But yeah. I'll just say thank you for coming along. I hope you enjoyed. I'm definitely enjoying this so far. And yeah, until the next time, I hope you have a good day, have a good evening, and goodbye.